going into the tech industry, I was a little bit nervous because I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to be treated because it's not about me just like being different, coming from a different background, but it's very visible that I don't look like other engineers that I'm working with. But it doesn't hold me back. It doesn't stop me.
I just want to dig in a bit more on this graduate recruitment within Tesco, and maybe how it's changed. How has graduate recruitment changed in your time, and maybe entry level recruitment, I should say, not just graduate recruitment? How have you brought in talent who are at the beginning of their career, Aji, and how has that evolved over the last, over the period you have been there?
I think my observation of the graduate recruitment, I don't think the process in itself has changed massively, to be honest. I think they've refined it a bit since COVID, because I know they do a lot of video interviews now, which they didn't used to do at the time. It's a lot of face-to-face and group interviews. But my biggest observation of the change has been the people that we're hiring in as graduates.
Yeah.
Our graduates used to be very much like a assembly line, the same people all of the time. And these are people that if I looked at leaders, they were hiring people that were a little bit mini-me, people that they could recognize, people that they could see themselves in, not looking anywhere over and above that.
Yeah, having tunnel vision.
Yeah, very tunnel vision of, oh, I see myself in that person, so that's the person I'm going to hire. And over the years, I've seen a massive shift in the diversity of people that we're hiring across all areas of the business. And I never thought in my time at Tesco that I'll see it. And I've seen it so much in the last 2 years. And the amount of innovation, the amount of change that is brought into the business has been absolutely immense, in my view anyway. And I think it's a fundamental shift in recruitment, being very intentional about the type of people that they're hiring, and not just the same type of people that look like them, think like them, come from the same schools as them, right? Mm-hmm. That's been probably my biggest notice in terms of a shift from a graduate perspective.
Right, okay. So it's more of a meritocracy now, as opposed to a very specific type
very
of
specific.
person.
It would have been the Cambridge, it would have been the Oxfords, it would have been, those are the universities that Tesco would target to go to. Whereby now I'm seeing such a diversity in terms of, I'm going to be very specific to look for female talent. I'm going to be very specific to look for people from an ethnic minority community, because we know they'll bring something different. That wasn't there from a strategy perspective in terms of recruiting graduates. And I've seen a massive shift in that recently.
So is that shift something that has been proactively kind of, as a result of some proactive activity? So did you legislate to get it like that? Or did it just naturally shift as the world, as the UK became more diverse? You know what I mean? Was it a gradual natural change, or did Tesco take action?
I think it's been very intentional. I don't think it was naturally the same. I think as leaders shifted in Tesco, and as events has occurred, I actually think the George Floyd incident has had a massive impact in Tesco shift. Huge. Because we started to create plans that were specific around Black people. We started to create plans that were specific for maybe women. And Tesco became a lot more intentional about its hiring. Which I've never seen before. So it was an intentional strategy shift to say, we know as a business that hiring diverse candidates will grow our business, it will give us profits, and actually from a culture perspective, it will move the dial. And then Tesco became a lot more intentional about the type of people that they were hiring.
So in terms of the organization right now, obviously the leadership level is a lot more diverse. The teams are a lot more diverse. Could you maybe talk us through why that's benefited Tesco's? What's the benefit of that, and what is, because there's a very positive change from the inside looking out. But what benefits has that brought to Tesco, do you think?
Oh, massive. I think the way we brought up and the way we think is very different. And even individuals within the same household don't always have the same thought, right?
Yeah, sure. Everyone's got a very
everyone's
different
got
journey,
something
absolutely
to bring. And I think what I've found, especially if I've got a very diverse team, and what I've found is that no individual person always has the same thought or the same idea. And every time someone comes up with something, there's always someone with a different angle or a different view. And from a Tesco perspective, this has brought revenue. This has brought a culture shift. this has brought innovation, massive innovation around our
Yeah.
thinking in terms of products that we sell in store, technology that we build everywhere. So I think overall, it's just made a massive difference in terms of not only people, but also even commercially as a business. We are a for-profit organization, and it's fundamentally shifted how we're ranging products now that are targeting a certain community. We're selling stuff that we wouldn't have sold before. I always use the example of Indomie noodles. I always talk to our commercial directors about, you really want to get Black people going into your shops. You want to sell Indomie, but you don't want to just sell any kind of noodles because they won't buy it. So if you don't have buyers that know that, how are you going to target your audience when a lot of the population in London, for example, is from ethnic minority groups?
Can you give us your take on that, Naamua? Are you seeing? Do you feel now that the organisation that you've joined are, obviously a very diverse leadership team, more women, more people from underrepresented backgrounds? Does that make you, as a graduate who's just joined the organisation, feel a little bit, that sky's the limit? That meritocracy is there. If you work hard and you hit your targets and your goals, that you will achieve whatever you want to achieve in this organisation. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, no, it is definitely reassuring. In fact, I remember back when I was in my first team, so this was going back to around like December 2022, and I was talking to one of the product management graduates, and he told me about a special someone, Aji.
Oh, wow.
And I heard about how she'd gone from software engineering to product management, and he was literally just singing her praises. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is so cool. There's someone like me, even though you did move to product management. It's so cool. but yeah, I think it's reassuring because in school when I was studying computer science, it isn't normal I'm not saying it's not normal, but it's not common that girls will study computer science. So you do feel a bit different trying to go down that path. And my computer science teacher even kind of like warned me before going to university that I will be probably the odd one out. And I did end up being one of the few different people in the course. So I guess, it does, like going into the tech industry, I was a little bit nervous because I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to be treated because it's not about me just like being different, coming from a different background, but it's very visible that I don't look like other engineers that I'm working with. But it doesn't hold me back. It doesn't stop me. And of course, like all companies still have like a way to go to be more and more diverse, and everyone's making that progress. But I'm relieved that I don't feel like I'm stuck at this level just because I am a Black girl in tech.
Yeah. I think it is, the numbers are still very poor, aren't they, in terms of women in technology? And I don't know the numbers in terms of like people from certain, from underrepresented groups and diverse backgrounds, but certainly the gender split in the technology sector is still, I read the other day, is 26% in the UK. Now, I don't know how robust those numbers are. I think it was a HR magazine who came up with that, but it's still not great. It should be 50-50. I mean, when I was in school, girls were just as good at maths as boys were. In fact, actually, they were better in my class. I think I'm saying maths because that's generally something you need to be good at for computer science. But there's no justifiable logical reason why there are not more women in the sector, apart from, and I interviewed the the EMEA general manager of Google Cloud Security the other day, and we were talking about this exact point. And she's obviously at the top of the tree in her line of her career path now, and is very successful. She was talking about how when she was young, growing up in Spain, she was expected to go into a traditional female-based vocation.
Yeah.
And I don't think the people who are pushing those stereotypes have sinister intentions. It's just a cultural thing. I mean, and that's what we need to change. I don't think anyone's out there going, right, women can't work in these careers. No one's doing that. I think it's just the way we act. We have to broaden our minds.
Yeah.
I've got 2 daughters. I'd love them to work in the technology sector. I would love them to be, looked up to like Aji is as an inspirational person who's blazing a trail, but it's, but yeah, I don't know if these perceptions are going to change. It looks like we're. Do you think we're making progress, Aji? It seems like you are in Tesco, but generally, are we making progress as a society?
Yeah, I think it's two things, and I'm always really honest about the fact that it's not just the companies as well; it's also our community. And please tell me if I'm being wrong, Naamua. It was yes. I know if I went to someone from my background, my community, and I said to them, "Would your son or daughter want to come and work at Tesco?" The first thing they'll say to me is, "Oh, I don't want them to work in a store." Okay? Because in their minds, Tesco's a store. If I went to them and said, "Oh, I want your daughter to work at Facebook or Google," they'll be jumping up and down the chairs because they'll be super excited. In their minds, those are tech companies. So also I say two things. I think we need to, as a community, we need to get better at understanding that retail companies are as high tech as you would have your Googles or your Metas, for example, right? That's for us to do. And I think Naamua does an incredible job. She runs this work experience program. Amazing. Where it's schools coming into Tesco, year 10s, year 11s, and year 12s to actually see for a whole week what it's like to work in the industry. And actually, for people coming from our background, when they come in and see that, it gives them something to aim for. It gives them a vision of a dream of something that they could be. And normally, all they think about Tesco is I need to work and get a packet of crisps and a prime drink or whatever. That's it. They see it as a store. So those initiatives that Naamua does would really help people to understand a little bit more about what we offer. That's one part. The second part is companies need to do better at reaching out to universities in those communities. Not all people from a Black background would go to Cambridge or Oxford. Minimal. But you've got a lot of really smart kids, very resilient, really hardworking that go to universities that Tesco may not deem, the top-notch universities, right?
Yeah.
I started at Middlesex University because I came here as an immigrant. That's what I could afford. I had to pay for my own uni fees, right? It didn't make me any less smarter than anybody who went to Oxford or Cambridge. I just didn't have the right opportunities then.